got the idea to do a seed library here from Ken Greene, who started the country's first seed library in the Hudson Valley in upstate New York.
It's really important for communities, especially communities like here at Martha's Vineyard, that have a very specific ecosystem and climate that's different than other parts of the nation, to have some kind of local seed cooperative effort happening, whether that's a library or a bank or a swap going on. And part of the reason is because over time, the people involved in that project can improve the varieties to perform better with the specific conditions of the island here. And so that requires people to check out the seeds, grow them in their gardens, enjoy some of the food or the flowers or whatever they grew, but then save some seeds from what they grew to return to the library. That keeps that variety alive, it helps it adapt, and it also keeps it in the hands of gardeners and farmers here. It keeps it alive by growing it. Does anyone know what this is? So this is lettuce. Oh, yeah. That stage when we're harvesting lettuce at the edible stage it's kind of like the preteen stage of the plant. There can be 50 to 100 yellow flowers on the top of a healthy, full-size lettuce plant. And that's what each of these little puffs is here, which is full of seeds. I'll just show you quickly threshing the lettuce. Basically, you're just rubbing these together to get it to release. And sometimes actually rubbing against the screen gives you a little bit more friction. When you become a seed saver, you're participating in the legacy that's been passed to us. And it's been passed to us from hand to hand to hand. Working with seeds and really getting intimate with them and touching them and learning about plants, you have this moment where you realize how much we've forgotten and how much has been lost. And you didn't even know that you were missing that part of yourself. That moment when you feel that you've regained some lost part of yourself through regaining these skills. 10, 12,000 years of history of seed saving, of coevolution between humans and plants. And we got to this modern point here where our lives are so separate from the plants that produce our food, and even more separate from the seeds that produce the plants. It's also about this idea of the power of small things. That in American culture, we've developed this idea that bigger is better. And we see corporations having more and more control, and we see government having more control, and we think, I'm just one person, what can I do? Learning how to save seeds and finding ways to share seeds within your community is a very, very powerful way of actually doing something. And you see what one little tiny seed can do and produce, and how it can touch people, not only in terms of nutrition and flavor and food, but also in terms of communicating the seed story, the cultural significance of the seed. I think it gives people hope that they can make a difference as an individual, even though it feels like we have these bigger, more overwhelming issues that we're dealing with.
We've bought this 24-drawer cabinet to save the seeds in, like an old library card catalog. The more people use it, the more we're going to gather these seed stories of where seeds have come from and how people eat them and why they love them. And that process of sharing stories and sharing food traditions is, I think, a really beautiful way to bring the community together and to honor some of the heritage that we've inherited from our ancestors or from our neighbors or from our elders in the community who share their seeds with us.
This is Narragansett white flint corn that we grew in the school gardens this year. It's this really old heirloom variety of corn that was grown here by native peoples and then grown for like 300 consecutive years on this farm in Connecticut, and then it was given to us at the schools and we grew it out and the kids shelled it and we made some really awesome cornbread out of it. but we have a lot extra, so if anyone wants to try growing it, made really delicious cornbread.
I've brought some green zebra tomato seeds saved by Kyla Binney up at the Allen Farm that she brought to our last seed event here, and we all helped save them on the now snowed-in porch. And I actually love green zebra tomatoes. They're some of my favorites because they have this gorgeous, green zebra look. They're striped in this just luscious situation. So I would suggest everyone taking them.
I brought Italian flat whole beans. They're from my garden. They originally came from Italy. They're very prolific, and I have a ton of them. I also have some dill in here that I collected out of my garden too. So that's what I brought to share.
This is dill. I grew the dill last year, so then I let it go to seed, and then I collected the seeds in the fall.
A part of the seed library here will be an entry form that people will fill out. And one of the things that we're asking them to record is the story of the seed. Some of these seeds have these long histories that are easy to lose.
I brought the Lebanese light green squash, and they're a really nice summer squash. They have a really delicious flavor. They're a pale light green, and I like them a lot. Rattlesnake is one of my favorite. It's a whole bean. It grows really well, and it has like the best flavor of any of the beans that I've tried.
I got flat Italian pole beans, so we're going to have Italian pole beans in Chilmark next summer.
Because of this loss of crop diversity that we've had and the way that the seed industry has become so consolidated over the last generation or so, crops have been chosen for their shelf life, their ability to travel long distances, and the reasons that people have saved their seeds for the rest of human history has been because they do really well in the place that you live, or the food that grows from that plant is really delicious, or the plant itself is really beautiful. And as the seed system has become more commercialized and industrialized, those varieties have disappeared forever. It's a real loss of control over the future of our food system. And by learning about seed saving, by saving our own seeds, and by sharing them in the community, we can help reclaim some of what has been lost in this way that's very positive and tangible and community building. I just can't think of a better solution to the root of the problems in our food system than reclaiming the source of our food in this way through seed sharing.